that's okay. So the other day I watched this movie, and it was like really bad. I watched half of it, and it was like the worst movie I've ever seen, right? So I was thinking in my head, I literally said, please God, have something happen to me so I don't have to finish this film. And I'm not joking when I say immediately my mother called me, and she said, Cody, your grandmother is in the hospital, and she may not make it through the night. Bingo. Alright? Now, I'm not saying I don't love my grandma. I love my grandma. I was going to go either way, but this way I don't have to watch this stupid movie, and I'm super stoked. So, I get to the hospital, right? And everybody's like super sad. Everyone's crying. They're all in the waiting room. It's real quiet. Because you get real quiet, you know, when you get sad. Everybody's there. Even my crackhead uncle who's half deaf was there. And he didn't know where he was, but he just knew he was sad. And everybody got real quiet. All of a sudden, somewhere in the world, someone decided to call my uncle, the crackhead. And in the quiet waiting room, and in the quiet hospital, his ringtone just blasted through the airwaves. And while everyone was sobbing and praying and crying, all of a sudden we hear, she fucking hates me! She fucking hates me! And he's half deaf, so it went on for like 5 choruses, no joke, and no one was stoked. And he had no idea what was going on. And then when he finally realized what was going on, he picked it up and answered it like it was no big deal. Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Oh, mom's dying. It's cool. Yeah. But I was the one who thought it was hilarious, and I laughed really hard. And then they told me my grandma was okay, and that was awesome, except that I had to go home and watch this terrible movie again. But little to my knowledge, I got home, and my house had been broken in, and we had been robbed. Hallelujah! God answered my prayer again. I don't have to watch this movie, because you can't watch a movie without a big screen TV, or a PlayStation 3, or a Nintendo Wii, or my laptop, or all my movies, or my dog. They stole everything, man. I was really upset, except when I found out that they did not find what I had stashed away, which was this. I have a signed copy of Good Burger on DVD by Kel Mitchell. They could have got $3 or $4 for that. And I have a signed copy of Surf Ninjas on DVD by Ernie Wares Jr. So I still have my prized possessions, and that's awesome. But what they did take was, I guess they got really tired from carrying all my awesome stuff out of the house, and they took a brand new gallon of sweet tea out of the fridge, which I thought was really silly and unnecessary. So, yeah. On Saturday, I have a family reunion that I have to go to, and as I told you once, one of my uncles is, well, most of my uncles are crackheads, and so it's going to be a really fun time. But I did have this one uncle, and he died, and that's really sad, but no big deal. He was awesome, all right? His name was Uncle Ron, and he was the funniest man in the world. He actually had a tattoo of Mighty Mouse on his bicep. And the cool thing about Mighty Mouse is that he told the tattoo artist to give Mighty Mouse a giant boner. So he had a tattoo of Mighty Mouse with a giant boner, but he also had diabetes really bad. And my dad said that he couldn't afford it, so they had to take his legs. And I don't really know how that works, but he made the best of it. He got Nike shoes tattooed on his nubs. So that was really cool too. But the best thing about my Uncle Ron is that he had this banner on the back of his wheelchair, okay? And it had a naked woman with giant breasts and a ribbon across it that said knee rides, all right? If you don't know my uncle, you don't know what a knee ride is. And I found out what a knee ride was at my Grandpa Moose's funeral. Grandpa Moose was Ron's brother. And we were sitting outside of the church, and this attractive biker lady comes outside, and my Uncle Ron looks up at her from his wheelchair, and he says, "Ma'am, would you like a knee ride?" And she said, "Well, Ron, you ain't got no knees." And he goes, "Well, I got a weenie." And he damn near laughed out of his wheelchair. And it was hilarious. Whether you think so or not. I also have Cherokee Indian in my blood, is what my family tells me. I don't know if I believe it, but my Aunt Debbie believed it, so much so that she bought a fifth of whiskey and a bow and arrow one day. That night she decided to sit on top of a roof, get totally wasted, and shoot arrows at the neighbors as they walked through the neighborhood. And this is a completely true story. I'm not kidding. Luckily, she only killed 2 people, and it wasn't a big deal. Now, after she got out of prison, I was about 13, all right, and she really wanted to get closer with me and my siblings. So she came over, and everyone was sitting around the house. Excuse me, I meant everyone was sitting around the trailer, and we were all hanging out. Now, I just went swimming in the pool. Sorry again. I just went swimming in the horse trough, and I came inside, and I didn't have a shirt on, all right, just because I just got done swimming. And my dad was like, "Look at my boy. You know, he's growing up. He's got some chest hair. It's awesome." And my Aunt Debbie said, "I got more hair on my nipples than that boy does." And my dad mistakenly said, "Oh yeah? Prove it." Now the whole family's sitting around the living room of the trailer, and my Aunt Debbie doesn't pull her shirt down or lift her shirt up. She more reaches inside of her shirt and grabs a giant titty and pulls it out of the bottom like a torpedo. And to her credit, there was more hair on her nipples than mine. It was like someone had cut a black man's afro off and glued it to her nipple, and it was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. So yeah, my family's a little weird. Other weird things, How to Catch a Predator. You guys know what that show is? Yeah? Well, you know how they have a guy and he walks in the door like these fellas, but he wants to molest children, unlike these fellas? They got a camera crew and then the police arrest him or whatever. Well, my question is, what would happen if the guy that walked into the room was actually the Predator from the 80s movies? I think he'd probably just let him bang the little girl. Because when Predator comes to party, he came to party. And he'd at least let him get a knee ride in, I'm sure. That was my ender, and I thought it would hit harder.
Give us another.
I don't have any more jokes, I don't think. Hey Jay, it's your turn.